Okay. So, good evening, everybody. This year is our Amud Yomi Shir, Dear Shu Style Amud Yomi Maseches Shabbos Daf Yud Daled Amud Beis. We learned yesterday that I counted actually 9 things, although one of them we're going to erase today. There are 18 things that Bes Shammai managed to overpower Bes Hillel, 18 gzeros, 18 edicts that Bes Shammai were goizer and Bes Hillel had to agree. They were outnumbered. And 8 of those 18 are all kinds of people or things or situations in which the person, let's say, in certain situations become a sheni, midarabonon, because of this gzera, and he makes truma possible. If he touches truma, the truma now becomes tome. Why is it called possible? Possible means truma, but the last station, meaning it doesn't make anything else tome past that. That's what possible means. So now we're continuing the list, and then I want to do a summary today of the whole thing, Bezos Hashem. The last line in Yudala Domud Beis, the Tvul Yoim. One of the things mentioned in the list is Tvul Yoim. What's a Tvul Yoim? Tvul Yoim is the person who is Tomeh. He went to the mikveh with all the halachos, but it's not yet nighttime. It's before Shkia. So it says before in the Torah, if the person is Tvul Yoim before Shkia, he's still partially Tomeh. What do you mean partially Tomeh? He's not metame other things. It's not metame chulin, but it's metame truma, polshik and kochim. So now the question is very obvious. It's not yitches dovo. Tvul yom, not only if he eats it, even if he touches truma, becomes posol, and that's din Torah. We don't need now Shama and Hillel, Beshama Beshillel to metame that, to invent that. It says ubo hashemesh v'toyer. It says only when the sun sets, when the sun comes, then he'll become tall. And the Gemara, the Rashi says that we learn from different reasons that refers to truma. Why do you need the gzera to apply? Answers the Gemara, enechinami sami mikan tvul yoim. You should erase from here the words tvul yoim. Enechinami. Tvul yoim is not one of the 18 things. In other words, it's true that tvul yoim is metam truma. It's in the list because factually Tosfos says it is true that it's metame truma. It passes the truma, it makes the truma possible. However, it's not midarabonon. It's not one of the Yudches Dovo. It just slipped in by mistake to the brisa, so to speak. Sami mikan. In other words, brises are unfinished. Even mishnais are unfinished business when we learn the Gemara. And the Gemara says those words are wrong. Now let's continue to the real deal. Ooh. What did we say? Oichlin shenitmu b'mashkin are what? Are sheni. I circled this for a reason. This is the main part of the show here. We said that all kinds of situations, people, foods, drinks, you're going to see, they, midarabonon, Rabbanon gave them the status of sheni, and therefore they make truma, shlishi, and final, right? So now, one more item. Oichlin shenitmu b'mashkin. Food that became tome through mashkin, those foods become sheni letuma. Let's count if that makes sense. Says the Gemara, b'mashkin demai. What kind of mashkin are you talking about? Oh, if you're talking here about, let's say there's sheretz is avatuma. Yes? Let's say sheretz, made mashkim. Mashkim can be rishon. Mashkim are second, and the food touched the mashkin. Look, it's midoraisa, it's sheni. Doraisa ninhu. I don't need gzera. Again, sheretz is av, mashkim are rishon, and oichlim, the food that they touched, are sheni. That's doraisa. It works doraisa. Kli is not only kli. It could be kli and also oichlin or mashkin. And kli can also be oichlin, mashkin, whatever. If so, what did you tell me? Food that touched drinks is sheni. Well, if you talk about the regular hierarchy, it's midaraisa. I don't need exer for that. Because it says, it says any mashke that you drink becomes what? Could be rishon, making a food sheni, ivaldig. So you don't need gzer derabanan. Elo. Here we come with a big chidush, and I hinted to that yesterday. B'mashkin haboin machmas yadayim, b'gzer mishumashkin boin machmas sheretz. This is huge, what we're going to see now. Mashkin abo and machmas yadai means is what? What did we say? One of the 8 things that we counted so far that makes truma tome or posul are yadayim. Look, if you don't wash your hands for truma, you're kohen. In the times of Beis Hamikdash, you eat truma. You have to wash your hands. This is the gzer of Netilas Yadayim, what we do every time before we eat bread. The source is the truma of the kohanim or Israelim who kept chulin as if it was truma. What's a gzera? If you touch the truma with your hands without Netilas Yadayim, then what? The truma becomes possible. Okay, that we did that already. What are we coming to say now? Here comes the big thing, which appears many places in Shas. Mashkim have the interesting quality of always jumping, becoming rishon, which means, look at this. I'm a sheni midorabonon because my yadayim are dirty or not washed, right? What happens if I touch truma? Depends. If the truma is food, is oichlim, solid food, shlishi, so that's normal. But if I touched mashkim, I touched wine of truma or something like that, well, it goes and becomes a rishon. Wow. And that's the chiddush. If you have mashkim that were touched by sheni, the tuma, they move up a level, unbelievable, right? And therefore, what did we say before? They make the oichlim sheni, but that's the rabbanon. The mashkim are always upgraded to become rishon. Then they make the food sheni, and then makes the other truma shlishi. Why did we do that? And Rashi says it's not only a dime. Any of the items that we mentioned here, for example, let's by the throw of the hat, a guy who was in the mikveh today, and then he went and had a bath, a nice spa after the mikveh. Then what? Rosh v'ruboy, he becomes a sheni, and therefore what happens to the food that he touches? The food shlishi. If he touched mashkim, up to be rishon. Man koiftzim. They go up, and now they, in return, make other foods, for example, sheni. Why did we make such a stark gzera? We made the gzera because many times you have mashkim who are really rishon. Machmas sheretz. Let's circle Mr. Sheretz, yeah? You have a dead sheretz. Only dead shotzim. There are 8 shotzim, and if they're dead, yeah, lizard, the monitor lizard, the chameleon, all these things, yeah, 8 of them in the Torah, mole, yeah, the one under the ground, yeah, you know what I mean, yeah. So those things, they are, if they're dead, they are sheretz avatuma. If sometimes, if they touch mashkim, they really are rishon. So because there are mashkim in the world that midoraisa are rishon, therefore Rabbanan said that even mashkim who should be shlishi are upgraded to be rishon. Now, the question is, that's very strong. And if you believe that anything should be like the Doraisa, always upgraded to be Rishon, because there are mashkim who really are Rishon coming from here, what about food? Say the same thing about food. Make up your mind. Why is it by food we didn't make that Gzera? By food, I'm a Sheni, I touched food of Truma, it's just Shlishi. Why? Why don't you upgrade it to be Rishon? Because there are foods that are Midoraisa Rishon. Answers Rashi, mashkim are much more susceptible, are much more sensitive to becoming tome more than oichlin. Why? You tell me what has to happen to food in order to be susceptible to receive tumah? It has to be touched by one of the 7 mashkim, right? It has to be touched by yad shechad dam. It has to be touched by blood or water or milk or dew, honey, all these 7 things, and therefore not every food becomes tome. Yeah, you picked a carrot off the ground and you never washed it yet after it was picked, then you can have 10 dead people touching it, nothing's going to happen. So because food is less likely to become tome, they didn't do the gzera. Mashkim, in return, nothing has to happen to them. They're much more susceptible, they're much more in danger zone of becoming tome. So because mashkim are more likely to become tome, what happens then? Those mashkim really are, they are the issue of a gzera. And because mashkim can be rishon midoraisa, touch masheretz, nothing else has to happen to them, yeah, because there is no need for hechsher. It's called hechsher tuma. They're ready automatically to become tome. Therefore, if they're touched by sheni, they don't go down; they go up. Instead of being shlishi, they become rishon. That's a gzera over here. That's one of the gzeras. Weiter, the next case, the kelim shenitmu b'mashkin. Kelim, vessels, kelim. I don't know, a plate, whatever, something from cheres, from iron, yeah. it became Tomeh from Mashkim. The Rabbanon made the Gzera. Kelim that became Tomeh through Mashkim, they received Tumah from Mashkim. What about them? They become Sheni. Those Kelim are Sheni, and they make Tumah Shlishi. Frag the Gemara, again, what's the story over here? Kelim did move in Mashkim Demai. What kind of Mashkim did they touch? Now, whenever we say drinks, what comes to your mind? Wine, honey, something nice, right? Water. Some mashkim are, excuse my language, but that's what it says in the Meforshim here. Some mashkim are really, really disgusting, yeah? Some mashkim are body liquids that are really unpleasant. And I mentioned it over here. Avatuma, sheret zav, a zav, a person with a zav, is avatuma, and the mashkin of the zav, for example, is spittle, his saliva, his urine, meraglaim, things like that, those, the mashkim like that, they also are av hatuma. They're also called mashkim, different types of mashkim. So now, like Gemara is slowly analyzing it. Ilema b'mashkim dezav. Now, what are you telling me? Kelim that became tomah from mashkim. If you mean the mashkim of zav, which are av, that made a kli, look, kli. They made a kli rishon. Now, something that touched the kli, yeah, is becoming sheni. Kelim did b'mashkin, then it's the oraisa, right? Yeah, you have the azav. A kli became tomah from that. Something else from the keli, avada. So they, of course, they're tomah. That's not the rabbanon. That's before the oraisa. The oraisa ninu dichtiv v'chi yerok hazav b'toir masha b'atoir timesi lecho. Let's say the zav spits on the tor, not really nice, but the zav, hopefully by mistake, spat on a regular person on his hand. Whatever is in the hand of the tor becomes tomeh like avatuma. If it's avatuma, then it makes the other thing, the kli, makes rishon, finished. It's doraisa. Ela, therefore, we have to explain differently. B'mashkin haboin machmas sheretz. Ay. That's different. You had sheretz. The mashkim that we talk about are mashkim that are rishon. Do they make a kli tomim midoraisa? No. Midoraisa mashkim that are rishon do not make kli tomim. Kli midoraisa, as I told you a few times, people and kelim only become tomim from an av, not from a rishon. Midoraisa, you don't have kli or a person sheni latuma. Midorabanon, right here, we're actually going to right this second now, that if you have mashkim that are rishon, they do make the kli sheni, and that's just a din dorabanon. Why is that? Gzera mishumashkin dezav. Gzera mishumashkin dezav, which means people will, funnily enough, get confused between one type of mashkim and the other, which means if you are used to the idea that anything liquidy, you're married to a regular woman, she knows what she knows, people are. So now, you tell the woman, listen, things that are liquidy, such as water, blah, 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 all the things that are tommy liquid, you're chaver, you want to keep everything nice, they're not metamid the kelim. So the woman knows, or the man knows, kelim never become tommy through mashkim. All of a sudden will come a weird situation of a zav, and the zav would spit on a kli, that would be tommy midoraisa, and they wouldn't know that. That's why they made the gzera. They made a gzera that mashkim that are rishon do make a kli sheni. Kli sheni is only on Shabbos. There's no kli sheni in Tumah midoraisa, only midorabonon. Why? Because you'll come to mix the mashkim of wine water with the mashkim of the zav, of the spittle or the urine of the zav, and that is Tumah midoraisa, and you wouldn't know that. Because of that, they made the gzera that any mashke makes a kli tomeh, even mashke rishon. Let mitzad, you shouldn't yet lest to come to confuse with a real mashke of zav, which is metameh midoraisa the kli, because it's an av. Weiter. Now we're making now the Gemara. There are more gzeros, but now the Gemara kind of takes a break, and the Gemara is going to talk more about Yadayim, about the history of Netilas Yadayim. History of Netilas Yadayim. Maybe that's a good title for YouTube, yeah? So now the Gemara, David asked yesterday a question. David asked the question, what would be, why are we saying that Netilas Yadayim is a gzera of Shammai B'Hillel? We always thought it's a gzera of Shlomo HaMelech. And that will be soon the question. But first we have a different question. Frag the Gemara. v'yadayim talmid Shama v'Hillel gozu. Are you sure that netilas yadayim, not just netilas yadayim, the yadayim that are not washed, what do? They are sheni, those yadayim, and they make truma shlishi. That's like an establishment of the talmidim of Shama v'Hillel. No, Shama v'Hillel themselves gozu. Shama v'Hillel themselves, the fathers of these two schools of thought, of these two schools, they're the one who made the Gzera. Before they had all these Talmidim, they themselves already, earlier, they're the ones who made the Gzera. As we're going to see, there's Shama v'Hillel and there's Beis Shama v'Hillel. Yeah, it's two separate stages. The Tanya, it says in the Brisa. The Brisa is going to talk now about all kinds of Gzeras, and that Brisa itself, by the way, is going to be a source of a whole polemic later. Tanya, Yossi ben Yoezer ish Tzreida, v'Yossi ben Yochanan ish Yerushalayim, familiar from Maseches Avos. What did they do? Gozru tumal eretz amim val klei zechuchis. In other words, they decreed a tumal eretz amim. They like to go to Chul, al style Chul, and let's say the person goes to Chutz Laaretz, you know what he has to do and comes to Eretz Yisrael? Paraduma. In the airport. Paraduma. Why? You go to Chutz Laaretz, become Tomeh. Not because in Chutz Laaretz you have, I don't know, all kinds of things. Simply because in Chutz Laaretz, the Goyim is supposed to Eden, they don't bury their dead really so as well as we do. Yeah, some of them today became more civilized, some not. And also the Meiri says the women of the Goyim are mizane and they bury the babies that are born. Like they found such a thing in France. It was the monastery of the nuns and they found all the dead babies there. That's such. It's in Konyas. The Kitzer, so then what happens? It goes to Eretz Amim. Eretz Amim, if you walk down the street in Eretz Amim in a field, yeah, where there's just ground, it's very likely that with your toes, as you're pushing the ground with your toes, with your feet, as you walk, you're actually pushing bones of Mesim, of dead people, of dead Goyim. Now, do you think that dead Goyim do not create Tumah? No, wrong. That's a very big misconception. Rashi explains. The only machloikas between Tanakame and Rab Shimon Bar Yochai is about oil ames. In other words, Rab Shimon Bar Yochai paskins in Yevomis Daf Samech Aleph, he says that goyim are not metame be'ohel if you're in a dead body of a goy in the same house. But if you touch the dead body of a goy, you touch Tim Mackenzie's dead body, or you push it with your feet, as we explained. You don't always have to touch. Even if you just push it or you touch it, let's say you walk barefoot in a field in Chutz Laaretz. How nice to walk in, I don't know, some field in Tennessee, right? You walk there, you don't know who's buried there. Very likely they are going there. That's why they made the Gzera, Tumah Eretz Amim, you come back to Eretz Yisrael, Paraduma. You're assumed to be, maybe, we don't know, we're Goizer. Also, the Gemara in Nozir, I think, says we're trying to avoid, to try and minimize people going to Chutz Laaretz, yeah? Not such a good thing to go to Chutz Laaretz, yeah? And therefore, they made this Gzera. Okay, everyone agrees that goy is metame b'maga and by pushing. Valklei is chuchis. The other gzera that the two yoisis were goizer, the heilige zugois. Klei is chuchis. What's klei is chuchis? Klei made out of glass, glassware, glass. I don't know if glass even existed in the time of the Torah or not. But the Torah doesn't refer to chuchis. In the Raisa, klei chuchis is not mekabel tuma. Only Rabbanon. Which Rabbanon? These yoisi ve'yoisi. They're the ones who established the idea, the gzera, that a kli zchuchis, if it's touched by sheretz, it becomes tomeh. Why? Because it's similar to cheres. Because cheres is made out of earth, and zchuchis, glass, is also originally from earth, from sand. That's why I made the gzera. Each line here will be explained later much more, or more elaborately. Now, Shimon ben, this is just a brisa that goes on, and soon we'll get to the Shammai. Shimon ben Shatach tiken ksuba la'isha. Shimon ben Shatach made the Gzera, made a takona, the women should get ksuba. Well, this seems to be wrong, and the Gemara in ksuba says, mapitom. Ksubas existed from the times of the Torah, from Rivka Amenu. Ksuba was midoraisa. What Shimon ben Shatach did was as follows. I saw now the Gemara in Ksubas actually. The Gemara in Ksuba says as follows. In the beginning, how does a woman know that she would actually receive her ksuba? It's very nice to give a ksuba, like some people write millions. I had a friend in yeshiva who was a Tunisai from Migdal Emek, yeah. They gave their chveis millions of shekels under the chuppah. He promised, yeah. Yeah, the father of the Kala, he insisted she try to go under the chuppah. Started saying it. It was very cool. So then what? It was very nice people. Really, no. And then, no, really, no. Amazing people. His best friend. So then, it was my roommate. Very, very good friends we were. So then, But how does a woman know she'll really get those million shekels? So you know what's going to happen? If the woman knows that she has a wad of cash, some kind of a bag of coins, yeah, maybe they're going to make it disappear. The husband's going to die, and the Yorshim will not give her the coins; they'll hide it. So women didn't know that they're going to get the security of really receiving the money. What's the other option? Then they said, okay, we'll make some kind of tachshit, we'll make some kind of jewelry from gold or silver, yeah, and you know that this is for you, and we keep it in your father's house or your father-in-law's house. That created the opposite problem. It was too easy for a man to divorce his wife because if he knows that there's one piece of jewelry that's designated, dedicated for a ksuba, he would get upset with her. Yeah, upset with her. 3 days without blinches, done. Can't take it anymore. And then what wants to divorce her? And then what's going to be? It's too easy to take that piece of jewelry and tell her, yalla, yalla, I've had enough, go. That's not good either. So what did he do? He found a healthy middle. He said every woman, once she gets married, all the nechosim of her husband are meshubad to her. There's a shibud, like mortgage to her on his nechosim. Either it happens automatically or chachamim would force him to write it. But his idea was there are pieces of land. If the man has land, if not, I don't know. But if the man has a house, has a field, has a gas station, has an airport, whatever he has, yeah, it's meshubad for ksuba. Now you can't hide it, and it's not so available either, right? So it's good. That was the takana of Shimon ben Shatach to help women really have the rights to get the ksuba. Now, because of Tumah, what? But then she'll take it from the לקוחos. הוא ימכור, אבל אז תיקח, זה כל עבוד של שעבוד. שימכור כמה שבא לו, אבל היא הייתה לפני הלקוחות. היא התחתנת בגיל 20, בגיל 40 הוא מכר. אז היא הייתה לפניהם. אז היא תיקח את זה מהלקוחות. She'll take it from the לקוחos. That's shibud. So she's still secure, even if he sells it on. She'll go to the people who bought the gas station from him, the Tachanadelik, and she'll go and say, it's mine. And she has it in the ksuba. That's what he used to do all the time. Now, the gozo tumal klei matachois. That's very, very difficult. The Gemara will explain later. He decreed tuma on klei matachois. It's very difficult because that's the oraisa to be discussed later. Oh, now we get to the main point. Shammai v'Hillel gozru tuma le'yadayim. Mazel tov. What did we see? Shammai v'Hillel, not Beth Shammai v'Hillel. Shammai himself and Hillel himself, the two men, leave all the Talmidim alone. What did they do? They made gzera of tuma le'yadayim. So are you telling me here that it's Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel? There was all discussion. And if you want to tell me Shammai v'Siosoi v'Hillel v'Siosoi, maybe when the Brisa says Shammai v'Hillel, the Brisa means to say Shammai and co and Hillel and co. Maybe Shammai and his group and Hillel and his group were outnumbered, outvoted, and together they decreed. Maybe that's what the Brisa means. It's really all the same. No, you can't say that. You cannot say that. This is the history of Yud Ches Dover. Yud Ches Dover gozru, u'beyud Ches nechlaku. Here there are two ways to explain it. I'm going now with Rashi. Rashi says no. There are 18 things that they're argued about. In other words, remember what we said? There was that one crucial day that they got up to the attic of Hanani Bechizkiah and go and to visit him. He's working hard, learning Sefer Yechezkel. They knocked on the door. They made a nice visit. Then started the whole polemic. It didn't start then. Those 18 things that were old machloikas between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel long ago, and then they seized the moment, they used the moment, they exploited, and they said, oh, now is the time, we are more than you. They closed the door, and they said nobody was allowed to come in anymore. They closed the door, closed the kalpi, and they said, Beis Shammai more than Beis Hillel, we chap you, we caught you, now we are the majority, we're going to do the gzera now. But that was machloikas that's been already before that. All these 18 topics we talk about were already old machloikis between the two schools of thought. So it can't be Hillel v'Shammai. Why? The Hillel v'Shammai themselves lo nechleku le begimel mekoimois. The Omer of Huna begimel mekoimois nechleku v'tuuloi. Ay. Funnily enough, unbelievable. The Gemara will detail later on. There are only 3 things that Shammai himself and Hillel himself argued. Only 3 things. All the millions of machlokas in Shammai Beis Hillel all over Shas, they were the Talmidim. So now, let's put 2 and 2 together. Let's summarize and see what's going on. Let's stop for a second. It's simple math. Shammai and Hillel themselves were Goizer Yadayim, right? You can't say Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel were Goizer Yadayim. It's all the same. Why? Shammai and Hillel argued only 3 things. And those Yud Ches Dover were argued between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel, not between Shammai and Hillel. So the one who goes there Yadayim were Shammai and Hillel, and the one but it's Tefillin were Shammai and Hillel. Okay, Shammai and Hillel were what? They were the ones who were Goizer Yadayim. And then it says, no, that Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel were Goizer Yadayim is part of the 18 things. And it can't be the same because they only argued on 3 things and they argued on 18 things. So Shammai and Hillel were not in that polemic and in that vote with the 18 things. They were not there. They were not there. It was only the Talmidim because they only argued on 3 things, not on those 18 things, which eventually were voted. So that's a stira. What's going on? Is it them, Hillel and Shammai, or is it Beit Shammai, Beis Hillel? And if you want to tell me, and if you'd like to suggest, and here we're coming to a big yesoid, and I'm going to tell you the Rambam later. And if you want to tell me, maybe there were 2 stages to the Gzera. Asu inhu gozu litlois, the asu talmidayu v'gozu lisrois. You're going to see this more than once in this sugya when Chachamim are goizer on something that it's tome, truma. Let's say Chachamim decide sheni. We saw already 8 cases. I counted. I hope I counted right. When Chachamim decide sheni, truma is tome. What do you do with truma tmeya? You take it to the geniza. You put it in your vitrina. Well, what do you do with the truma tmeya? Midoraisa of truma is tmeya. You burn it. Okay, midoraisa you burn truma tmeya. Now Chachamim, is this truma tmeya deoraisa? By the real truth of the Torah? No, it's not. Chachamim invented the idea, established the idea that it's tome. Now for Chazal to say that the truma should be burnt is not so simple because you're not allowed to destroy truma tahara. So whenever it's a bit like brocha levatola. If you have a suffix in the brocha, can you say, okay, I'll make a brocha? No, you're running a risk over here. So for Chazal to say the truma is so tome, and they invented the idea that truma tmeya, and you should burn it, it's not so simple. Why? Because if it's really not tome, midoraisa it's not, you are burning truma tehoiro. You're not allowed to do that. And therefore, we want to say maybe there were 2 stages. By Shammai and Hillel themselves, they said, you know what? What I'm going to do, litlois. We're going to say that the truma is tome because it was touched by yadayim that are unwashed. The truma is tome, but let's play it safe. Let's be on the safe side. We're litlot. We're going to be tole. We won't eat it, but won't burn it. Put it in the corner until it rots, until it decays, until it's rakuv. Yeah. Then that was the beginning. Later on, the Talmidim maybe came later and said no. Sometimes Chazal are so strong in the Gzeras, and they say, we have to make a Gzera that's super strong, because otherwise it will be a terrible kilkul, terrible michshoil, and therefore, what are we going to do? We are going to say that you burn the Truma, ad kedei kach. Maybe there were the 2 stages. So both prices are right. Shammai and Hillel were goizer half, and the Talmidim became stronger, more extreme, and they said, let's burn it. That would be a very nice solution, but the problem is it's not true. V'amar Ilfa, the Tana says, Yadayim, tchilas gzeros on the sreifa. Wow. Yadayim, right from the start, whoever started the gzera of Yadayim, Shammai and Hillel or the Talmidim, right from the beginning, were very stark about it, and we said, no, if you touch Truma with your unclean hands, sreifa straight away. So what's the solution? So who made that gzera? Is it Shammai and Hillel, or is it Talmidim of Shammai and Hillel? Ella, now we come to a solution. Atu inhu gozu velo kiblu minayu. At the beginning, Shammai and Hillel were goizel, that if you touch the truma with your non-washed hands, it's tom and you burn it, but people didn't accept it. It wasn't accepted. People just didn't follow that decree. And what we all know, Gzera she'en hatzibur yochel lamod bo is not a Gzera. Every Gzera of Chazal, doesn't stand, for example. The Gemara says, I remember 2 examples. One of them is in Avodah Zarah, Daf Lamed Vav Amud Aleph. They were goyzer on oil, and then you're allowed to drink oil of goyim. Not like nesach or like bas. Why? Because people didn't accept it. So Chazal backtracked and said, okay, people just don't get it, don't accept it, so we're canceling. Same thing, they made the Gzera not to play any music or not to have any tachshitim after Churban Abayis. That's, I think, the last Amud in Cheskas Abatim. I think it's in Tes or Samech or something in Bava Basra. And It's too much. People can't not have any jewelry, women without jewelry. So they made like another, or something like that, something very strong with a churban. And that was the story over here. Sham and Hillel had a nice, very choshev attempt, which didn't go. Yeah, people didn't follow, and therefore the Gzera didn't exist. They also Talmidayu gozu v'kiblu minayu. The Talmidim re-established it. They restarted the Gzera, and then people accepted it from them. I saw in the Dirshu booklet, he says that, I don't remember Shem who, he says that at the beginning it was too much for people to go such a transition from being completely Tohar, they had no idea of Netilas Yadayim, yeah, for Truma. From being completely Tohar to burn was too much. Took them some time. Afterwards, the second generation, they restarted it and then people accepted it. Like they had some kind of, preparation for that. Frek the Gemara, what I promised you the Gemara is going to ask, V'akati, at the end of the day, V'akati, bottom line, Shloima Gozal, you're talking to me about Sham and Hillel, V'Sham and Hillel, Shloima HaMelech, way before Sham and Hillel, way before, he's the one who was Goizer Netilas Yadayim. Domo B'Yodomo Shmuel, Rabbi Yehuda B'Shem Shmuel says, B'Shosh Shetiken Shloima Eruvin V'Netilas Yadayim. When Shlomo Melech established Eruvin and Netilas Yadayim. What do you mean established Eruvin? People don't know what it means. I think Shlomo Melech established the idea of Eruv. You know what it means? Shlomo Melech is the one who actually forbade people carrying from a Reshus HaYochid to another Reshus HaYochid. In which case, remember what we said. Let you live in your house, and your chotzer is Reshus HaYochid, because it's surrounded by walls. You have 3 or 4 walls by 10 by 4, yeah? But you know how many people are there? Kanai Nahara, 20 families. So people growing there, living there, believe it's Reshus HaRabim, right? Chadal Madregot in Bnei Brak. How many people are there running around all day long? 100 children. It's Reshus HaRabim. In their eyes, it's Reshus HaYochid. So people get confused. If you can carry from Reshus HaYochid to Cheder Madregot, to the inner patio, or even to a closed street, even to a dead street, people would think, wait, I'm carrying from Reshus HaYochid to Reshus HaRabim, and that's okay. Maybe I'll carry also to Broadway, to Manhattan. Same thing. That's a terrible michshol. So that's why Shlomo was metaken, that if you want to carry from your house to the chotzer or to the movoy, then you have to have Eruvin. And the other Gzera Shlomo established with Netilas Yadayim are very, this Netilas Yadayim. You know what happened when Shlomo Melech was metaken these things? Oh, it's a beautiful moment. Yotz the Bas Kol ve'omro, Bas Kol came down and said, B'ni, this is like David HaMelech. I think it's David HaMelech talking, because the Gemara in Brocha says that. Im chacham libcha yismach libi gam ani. If your heart is smart, is wise, yeah, my heart will also be happy. And then it says, Chacham b'ni v'smach libi v'ashiva choyer fidovo. My son, you are wise. My heart is happy with you, is glad. V'ashiva choyer fidovo. What's ashiva choyer fidovo? David HaMelech said, many people are mecharef. As you know, David HaMelech, I think he's number 1 in the Guinness Book of Record, a person who had so many enemies, right? He had a lot of enemies, yeah? Mecharef. There are a lot of people who cursed him. Now I can reply back to them. I have such a choshev son who's there such good gzeros. I can answer back to them that I'm not such a bad guy. I have such a son like him. In any event, but what do we see here? By the way, Rashi says something famous. It says Izen. It says about Shlomo HaMelech, there was Izen v'chikeh. What does it mean, Izen? La'azen in Hebrew means to balance, but La'azen really means Oznaim. She'osa Oznaim l'toiro. Everyone knows Oznaim l'toiro. What does it mean, Oznaim l'toiro? Oznaim of a kli are not ears, are handles. Yeah. In other words, if you have a hot thing, or it's very hard sometimes to hold the actual vessel, you need handles to hold it for whichever reason, right? So to those Gzeres Derabanon, they hold the Torah. If not for Netilas Yadayim, everything will be Tomid, the Truma will be disgusting. It wouldn't be, people wouldn't eat Truma, Mizalzel in Truma. Without Netilas Yadayim, Truma wouldn't exist. And what about Eruvin? Lo aleinu. If not for Eruvin, people would carry from the house to the street Isur Kores. So these things are important. Why? Because without them, there's no holding the Torah. But in any event, it's a question. What's a question? You're telling me Hillel v'Sham established it? Beis Shammai v'Hillel? What are you talking about? Way before it was established. By Shlomo. Answers the Gemara, no. Also Shlomo, there's 2 stages. Now there are stages. Also Shlomo goes le kodshim, also inu v'gozu af letrume. Very good. Which means, beautiful. Shlomo HaMelech, he was goizer for kochim. Shlomo HaMelech said, you know when it is that you have to wash your hands? Otherwise, if you touch blip, it's tome, which blip? Only if you touch kochim. As I told you, there are always three levels for Tumah Tahara. Chulin, Truma is higher, and kochim even higher. We saw that already. Kochim have revealed Tumah. It's not here, yeah? And many other differences. Here too, Shlomo HaMelech said, Yit kochim, he built Beis HaMikdash. He had to deal with kochim. You are going to touch kochim with dirty hands? No way, my friend. If you touch kochim with your filthy, excuse my language, with your filthy hands, or not filthy, but there maybe you touched your back or something, you scratched your back, now you're eating kochim? So then the kochim will become tome. You don't want that. Kochim are not supposed to be tome. You have to burn it, and it's also you're supposed to eat it. And that's why he was Mekadesh, he was Goizer and Kochim. They came many, many years later, and they extended it to Truma. Not a stira. He did it for Kochim, they did it for Truma. And eventually, as we all know, today we also chulin, we wash hands to chulin because of like Truma. Yeah, we all want to be like the Kohanim who eat Truma, so establish everyone, even eating chulin, should wash their hands, yeah, equivalent to Kohanim eating Truma to strengthen the Gzeira of the Truma. Now, the Rambam says something very nice. I'll just finish off with that, and then we'll go home for Shabbos, or Friday Shabbos. The Rambam says, Yudches dover nechleku, Yudches hushbu. Yudches, they argued, and then they agreed. The Rambam says, I just saw it tonight again, that if you follow the whole chapter from the beginning of the end of the Perek Aleph, you see there were three groups of 18 things. The first group of Gzeiras, everyone agrees. For example, not to do all these things before Mincha. It's Gzeira d'Rabbanan, Sham and Hillel agreed. The middle group are things that they argued, like, and at the end they agreed. And then you have things that they did not agree. That's the next group. Later on, we'll see that B'Shamai, where guys are all kinds of things that we don't do today. Yeah, for example, not to do things on Friday. Maybe we'll come to do them on Shabbos. That's a third group that was just B'Shamai, and we do not follow that. As we go along, we'll follow it. Seder, shkoyach, hatzlocha, bracha. Thank you very much. Okay, I think we have a better idea now of Tumah Tahara, and hatzlocha. Have a hope that you're mashlim today and tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're doing the Dirshu test. I'll be tested on everything that we learned tomorrow. They have a test in level O on 20 dapim. So I'm going to go there, Bezos Hashem. Amen. Thank you. Shkoyach. You can join too if you want. I mean, you have to have a number from Dirshu and then the test. Hebrew.